If you're seriously ill or critically injured up here, your life is in real danger.
Complaining of severe pain.
Mid-30s, been ejected from a vehicle.
Hospital's an hour away by road, and speed is the only thing that can save you.
Yeah, Roger, Helimed 99's en route, you over.
The Yorkshire Air Ambulance and its highly trained paramedics are scrambled 1,000 times a year.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
A small child has been on the path. A wagon's cut the corner and ran over him.
Many of its ex-military pilots flew the SAS into action.
That's not a suitable landing site. This one here is.
Welcome to the life and death world of the helicopter heroes. Today on Helicopter Heroes.
No helmet, no rope, and this climber's just fallen down a sheer rock face.
I always cringe when he does it, but he always does it.
Any paramedic will tell you that adrenaline is the hormone that once helped cavemen outrun saber-toothed tigers. But today it's responsible for an awful lot of accidents. It's what makes many of us seek a challenge that often ends in trouble.
Malham Cove in the Yorkshire Dales is one of the UK's biggest natural wonders. This used to be a waterfall, 20 metres higher than Niagara Falls. Now the river that created it has dried up, but the limestone rock face that remains attracts climbers from all over the world. Today, Helimed 99 has been scrambled to one of Malham's many casualties, a man who's fallen down a gorge at the side of the cove.
I've just had an update now from the scene. Apparently this guy estimated to have been fallen in excess of 30 metres, which is obviously a very long fall. It also poses a problem of access.
I've got a fell rescue dialed in, mate, on this one.
Yeah, you've got your ears on, Will.
We have now, we've got ICO on. Helibed 99 to Cave Rescue, Helibed 99, are you receiving over?
We're down here now, waving down here. You got them out at 3 o'clock, Chris.
Landing in this outsized landscape presents serious problems for the Helimed pilots.
Where do you want me to put you guys first?
If you can get in there, Chris, that's going to be ideal.
Malham has its own microclimate. Chris Attrill must be aware not just of rocks, but unpredictable winds and downdrafts too.
Still clear. Okay. Rock gap below.
Just below, yeah.
Yep, plenty of flag down to my side and plenty of room. If you want to swing the tail round to me, you can.
It's all right, I'm coming forward on that, mate.
Yeah, it's good, my side.
Yep.
It's fallen from the top.
Right. Free fall all that way, have we? Hiya, sir. Stay where you are, they don't move for me at all.
Paramedics Darren Axe and Pete Valance know this is a risky place. Loose fragments of limestone can fall without warning.
So were you on this side scrambling up? I'd say so.
Going up the gully.
Yeah, all right. Keep your head still for me. What we're going to need to do is just pop a collar on you.
Yep.
Treat you as though you've got a back injury
Yep.
until we're proven otherwise,
Yep.
okay?
David Greenwood is a veteran climber. Now, in his 60s, he prefers scrambling, the art of climbing without ropes. The fall has left his leg badly broken.
Did anybody witness it?
Yes, Adrian did.
Came down
Right.
the right way up.
Yeah, more or less into a standing position or...
And landed on his face.
I jarred me back when I fell, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel...
No.
David's wife, Adrienne, was with him when he fell. But a passerby raised the alarm. He climbed to the top of the cliffs to get a signal.
We were just walking down the path and there was a guy here who just said that someone had fallen off the cliff and had hurt his leg and could have called 999 and there wasn't a signal down here, so we
had to get as high up as we could to make the call.
Yeah.
So we eventually got through after getting to the top here.
Adrienne knows her husband's badly hurt, but she's putting a brave face on it.
I always cringe when he does it, but he always does it. Sometimes he'll do it twice. And he said it's very easy, but today he had sunglasses on, and I think he couldn't see as well in his sunglasses.
If you want any lift with that
Can I just ask, while I'm still in command of my senses, I've got a rucksack there that my wife might have trouble.
We'll sort that out, yeah. We're not like Ryanair, we don't charge for excess baggage, all right.
David's accurately diagnosed his broken leg, but he's lucky to be alive after such a long fall. This rock face is more than 100 foot high.
Bear with me now, I'm in, yeah.
Keep going, mate, on that gas. Keep going. Yeah, ooh, lovely.
Pete and Darren know the chances of their patient surviving the plunge without suffering a further serious injury are remote.
He's just going to do a top to bottom check of him now, just to make sure he's not hurt anything else, because sometimes the pain from an injury will mask another one, and we need to sort of rule that out. But we're going to treat for the worst, and we're going to immobilise him totally before we try to move him away from here.
The Helimed team won't relax until they've flown David to hospital and seen the x-rays. But pilot Chris has concerns of his own. Landing here was difficult enough. Taking off with a patient on board will be even more fraught with risk.
Remember David, the climber who survived a fall down a ravine in North Yorkshire? It looks like he's had a very lucky escape, but the Helimed team aren't leaving anything to chance. The rock faces of North Yorkshire are among the UK's safest, especially when climbers are well equipped. But some veterans of the rocks prefer to take on the terrain unprotected. Today, that could have cost David Greenwood his life. David's leg is broken, and paramedics Darren and Pete fear the injury may have damaged blood vessels supplying his right foot.
There is one, but it's ready. But if we have to traction it to get it into the splint, the likelihood that it'll reduce.
The pulse in it was quite sort of thready, but the thing is, we must have a nice suspicion of his injuries because of the distance that he's travelled.
David's fallen over 50 feet down a gorge near Malham. He had no helmet and he wasn't using a rope.
Take a good few deep breaths on that, because I'm going to have to pull your foot a little bit just to get it into this splint. Put it under, mate. That's the best I can do on that, mate. Yep. Right. Keep going, David. You just keep breathing it.
For the local mountain rescue team, this is a familiar story. This rugged landscape attracts extreme sports fans, but the risks can be high.
It's really decent weather, good spell of dry weather, but occasionally it can be very misty, and we had an aeroplane that came down a few weeks ago in the mist, and they survived, and found by one of our dog handlers, and another successful rescue mission, but we aim to please.
Right, people, if we can get a position ready to lift.
David's pain is under control, thanks to a dose of morphine.
I'll go get back ready, Pete.
Now Darren and Pete are keen to get him to hospital as quickly as possible.
Just watch your footing, Tim, it's going to drop off quite steeply now.
But pilot Chris won't be hurrying this takeoff. Helimed 99 is in a deep gully. Winds behave unpredictably in a landscape like this, and the chopper is vulnerable to any sudden downdraft.
And we've got to lift up, try and keep as much weight off the stretcher as we can as we feed in.
But at last, Helimed 99 is clear of the rocks.
Not the recommended departure. Hey.
Works by me.
Yeah. I like it. It's like going down Tunnel Run on Star Wars.
David's now just 10 minutes from the scanners and x-ray machines of Blackburn Hospital. Doctors are already on standby to examine him. The odds of him having escaped from such a long fall with just a broken leg are slim. But a few days later, David's sitting up in bed, having beaten those odds.
I thought, I'm at the top now, and I just took a step that wasn't as safe as it should have been, but I shouldn't have taken it at that point. I can't believe it, that I've escaped. At the time, you know, you don't have to flash in front of you, you just fall, and that's all that happens. And you think any second now it's going to go bang, I'm going to hit the ground, because you're just bouncing from rock to rock, and just hoping that you're going to come to a reasonably safe landing, which in the circumstances I think I did. I didn't touch my head, not a scratch on my head, I bashed my legs, arms, and of course broke my right ankle. I've had it pinned and plated. I've bashed, you know, all over the place up, but that's the only injury that requires any attention.
Despite his lucky escape, David has no intention of staying away from the Yorkshire crags. It's been a lifelong hobby, and despite the fact that climbing with ropes is safer, he also plans to keep alive the skills of scrambling, climbing unprotected up smaller rock faces.
I don't regret going scrambling because I've enjoyed it for so many years, but I just regret that moment of carelessness and think that you know, it could have cost me a lot more than a pinned leg.
A one-woman whirlwind. The new head of English is certainly shaking things up at Waterloo Road. That's tonight at 7:30 here on BBC One.